What do we have at the foundation of the reading? Seven of Wands, Leo energy at the foundation of the reading. For the past few days, I've been getting flooded with these downloads in regards to all of you being called to step up in your life, whatever that means for you, and however that looks with your current set of circumstances. Now, what's really interesting is a few days ago, my YouTube channel hit 144,000 subscribers. And I felt really called to do a collective reading because of this. And after this happened, I kept seeing these number sequences everywhere. 144, 1144, 114, 144. Every time I looked at the clock or I would see numbers somewhere, that's what I would see. So I decided that I should do a collective reading to not only honor this moment, but to also deliver some messages to you that I feel speak about a coming together, speak about a kind of uprising that all of us are getting underway in our own individual lives. One of the downloads I got was also in regards to timelines beginning to dissolve. And because of this, it's really time for all of you to take a leap. There's never been a better time. Your talents, your heart, and your ability to heal yourself and others is absolutely needed right now. But you have to be brave and push through whatever obstacles are in your way. There's an overwhelming feeling that we're all being prepared for something, and I do really feel that it's a shift in the collective consciousness. We've been slowly, over the past few years, transitioning into this new timeline, but it's as if we're crossing the threshold now. It's as if we've been in the pre-shadow, but now we're getting ready to pass the crossover point. But because of this, there's also a tremendous amount of resistance that a lot of you are feeling in your own lives right now. I was picking up on solar plexus attacks, right? So your solar plexus is all connected to your confidence. It's all connected to your personal power and feeling in control over your life. So you may be dealing with things right now that are trying to take that away from you or trying to attack that. The best way to ward this off is to do the exact opposite of the attack. So if somebody is trying to bring this energy into your life where you are feeling this tremendous lack of confidence or even faith on your path, do things to increase your confidence. Focus on self-care routines. If you're feeling that your environment is closing in on you, and as a result, you're having a lack of faith, you're feeling like you're unseen by the universe, pray, meditate, connect with Source. Source hasn't gone anywhere. You have to understand that we're all in the wilderness, so to speak. So we're going deeper and deeper into, let's say, a heavily wooded forest region. We're going into the matrix of our lives. And when we do this, we have a tendency to feel disconnected from Source. But all of us have this divine tether. Well, this is what I call it. You always have this connection there, but your own set of circumstances and your environments are going to try and fray that connection. There's not a whole lot we can do about that, but if we are consciously aware that we are always under some form of attack, we can implement specific things into our waking life to maintain our connection. And this Seven of Wands at the foundation speaks on everything that I just mentioned. This is an energy that wants you to give up, just wants you to stop doing what you're doing, right? Stop the awakening process. It wants you to feel overwhelmed, that it's just too hard, it's too much. Why can't you just be like everybody else? Why can't you just step in line, right? This is the energy that I'm feeling inside the collective right now. And what's ironic here is they're wanting you to step in line, but that isn't with spirit and the divine. That isn't in alignment with your highest good. That's you stepping in line and conforming to the enemy, right? They want you to surrender. I just heard so clearly, better that we should die on our feet rather than live on our knees. And this truly says it all. It's very easy to look around at the state of the world right now and see that there's a relevancy to this phrase, because this is exactly what's taking place. Not only is it happening on the worldwide stage collectively to all of us, but it's also happening in some capacity in our own individual lives. But this right here is a recognition of how far you've come, of how far we've come, because there simply would not be this much focus and effort into trying to get you to submit if your accomplishments didn't bring some sort of threat to this opposing force that we're all feeling right now. Seven of Wands is you standing up and fighting against the system of control in your own life, whatever this represents for you. Big or small, it's all represented in this card, and it's right there at the foundation of the reading. I just heard rocking your foundation, right? But for all the good reasons. You're bringing a destruction to some sort of false security in your life, and I'm seeing the tower in my mind's eye right now. It's as if this Seven of Wands is the precursor to the tower inside this energy that I'm feeling. The tower is the complete destruction. It's complete upheaval. What do we have at the sacral, please? Wow. The star, Aquarius energy at the sacral. And this is why. It's very important that you understand that if you feel like you've missed out or it's too late for something that maybe you thought you were going to be doing in your life, or maybe you've aged out of something that you wanted to go after, there's always another way. Most of us miss the mark. We're never on time. Look at all that we have to overcome in our lives to try and get to that allocated position in our own reality, right? The space that the divine wants us in. We're all fighting an individual war, and we're all fighting collectively as well. But if you feel like you've missed out on something, this does not mean you give up on yourself and give up on your life and settle into the mediocrity. You need to connect with Source. You need to go inward, and you will get an updated mission statement. It's never too late. But obviously, the longer that you wait, the harder you make it on yourself, okay? Now, everybody arrives at their own individual awakening when they're supposed to. It's all written in the Akashic for you. But we also have access to countless different timelines. So every action we take in this very moment is going to align us with the next timeline. Our environments are constructed in a way that doesn't necessarily support us finding our higher calling. It's not encouraged. It's something that you have to find on your own, and what you start to find is it's something you actually have to fight for. Once you're functioning inside of that space, you have to fight to protect it. Awakening is a kind of war, but once you step into this space, there's absolutely no going back. There's been a lot of sabotage taking place inside some of your individual lives recently, but a lot has been unearthed. A lot is starting to be exposed. You have become privy to a lot of information in regards to this resistance, in regards to these attacks recently. But a lot of you have remained relatively quiet. Because of this, you are showing the universe just how far you have come and how much you've grown and developed as a spiritual warrior, is what I just heard. Now, what I mean by all this is you've gotten to a point in your life where you're starting to understand yourself. You're starting to get a better idea of what your path may look like and what you need to overcome and accomplish on your path. And don't worry, none of us will ever know every detail, but the whole point is just to pick up enough breadcrumbs and to get moving in that direction. But in saying that, there's a certain level of confidence that you are encompassing now. And this confidence has brought with it a certain level of divine protection. When you truly understand what divine protection means and how you go about getting it, you stop fighting your own battles and allow the divine to do it for you. See, when you have this clear channel connection with Source, when you put spirit before everything and anything and allow the universe to guide you, this is when you are covered. A lot of people get that wrong. Most people get that wrong. There's some people that go out and buy a couple of crystals and a tarot deck, and they say that no weapons that form against me shall prosper. Right? These people haven't done anything. They're still living the same life they've always lived, but they are mainlining a kind of fake spirituality or fake awakening, okay? Most of you out there listening to this right now fully understand what I'm talking about, and you get it. You're not one of these people. You have to understand that you determine how protected you are by the relationship that you nurture with your higher self, otherwise known as Source, the divine. When you start to understand how this works, this is when you can truly move with the knowing that you are completely covered by the divine. Seven of Wands next to the star. What you're fighting for here is undeniable. A lot of you are actually stepping into this allocated position that I always speak about, right? For those of you who haven't heard me talk about it before, it's just my way of describing our mission, where the divine needs us in this life cycle. Doesn't necessarily have to speak about a geographical location. It's more of an energy. It's more of this all-encompassing energy of purpose. But as I'm looking at these two cards now, I understand fully why I was called to do this reading after seeing all these number synchronicities, like I mentioned to all of you, the 144s and all of this, because this is what this energy here represents. When you fight for your own life, whatever that means for you, right? For most of us, it speaks about stepping into that allocated position, the vision that we have for our life, the true heart's desire. This cannot be taken away from you. A lot of you have been made to feel like it can be, but it can't. The devil is the thief of time, and that's all that he and his minions, which are the people that surround a lot of you, your family members, your friends, the toxic romantic connections, it's going to show up everywhere, right? These are all extensions of that energy. That is the only way that the devil can derail you from your path, is by stealing time away from you. And then, after enough time has been taken away from you, you're expected to just surrender, drop to your knees, and give it all up. That's what is expected from all of us in these life cycles. Make no mistake of that. But this is simply not how it's going to be. There's a revolution taking place inside the collective right now. I would go as far as saying, even though it's not completely visible to us, I feel as though it's actually starting to become visible. It's not difficult to think about where the state of the world could be 6 months to a year from now, especially the way everything is going. But as above, so below. So a lot of what's starting to trickle into our waking lives is already happening. So now's the time to prepare. And the way you prepare is by releasing every ounce of fear and going directly towards your vision and purpose. There is nothing to fear but non-action. Switch decks. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. 9 of Cups and the Star again. We're going to take both of these. Pisces energy with this 9 of Cups at the solar plexus. The Star, Aquarius energy again at the heart. And these are obviously two different decks. But there's been a change to the illustration, right? It's as if you've arrived at something here. There's an emphasis on hope, purpose, and being in the spotlight of your life here. Now, that's a big statement, being in the spotlight, right? Being in the spotlight of your life, I think, is a little bit more grounded in reality, because it just really speaks about us being center stage in our own universe, us landing in that allocated position like I was mentioning. And there's this repeating message here as well with the jugs of water right here, right? Right here, right here. I'm hearing pouring into yourself, which is really this 9 of Cups energy. This is an energy of complete balance. It's an energy of abundance. It's an energy of all of your wishes being fulfilled and you essentially getting everything you want because it's in accordance with your mission statement inside of this life cycle. See, a lot of the things that we are trying to bring into our lives, or the things that we need to survive comfortably, abundance, prosperity, success, and happiness is all written in your mission statement. But you have to understand that we've been placed, we've been incarnated into the middle of this kind of maze, each and every one of us. The universe sends us down here for a specific reason, because we have something to offer, because we can help bring forward change. So as soon as we hit this 3-dimensional density, we are taken as prisoners, inmates inside a kind of imprisonment that we can't really see, because it's literally the whole reality. It's of the mind. See, this whole entire spiritual battle is taking place because of your mind. So that's why it's so incredibly important to focus on your mind health and your connection with Source, so you can remain balanced between the material world and the fact that you are actually a spiritual being living out a human experience. There's tremendous hope that I'm looking at on this table here, but it's something that you have access to once you start to understand enough of what I'm saying here to stand up and start taking action, however this is showing up for you in your own individual life. See, a lot of people also don't understand that when you take action in your own individual life, you're incrementally influencing our shift collectively, sort of like votes in an election, right? Every vote counts. Your vote counts, right? So in this case here, it's obviously spiritual in nature. So every awakening counts. Every person who steps into their power influences how we all show up together collectively, which creates this global shift. And everything I'm saying here falls under this umbrella of 144,000. And for the sake of this reading and the downloads I've been receiving, I feel that the message here today is that it only takes 144,000 of us to create a difference globally. So imagine if right now each one of you went out in your own individual lives and started stepping into your power. Now think about all the domino effects that would create around each one of you. And when you add that up together globally, how massive that can actually become. Just one of you can create a change in thousands, maybe even millions of lives. Myself, as an example, one of these readings, when I do these collective readings, they get anywhere from 50 to 70,000 views. Now, when you think about the people who listen and the different things that everybody takes from them, and then you think about those people talking to their friends or their family members about things that maybe they heard in a reading, and then those people they tell other people, you just don't know the extent of your influence. But all it takes is one of you. But when there's 144,000 of us, there's the potential there to create a shift so big that we are actually able to shift timelines. Like I said, there's countless different timelines that we have access to at any given moment. It's all about calibration. It's all about precision. That can be a very overwhelming idea to try and understand, and you're not meant to. It doesn't even matter. What matters is how you move, okay? That's how you affect change, which also speaks about you manifesting a reality based on how you move in your own individual life. Visual manifestation is real. Energy is real. What you put out will come back to you, whether it be good or whether it be bad. It's universal law. Life doesn't have to be so complicated. Unfortunately, a lot of us are left with no choice because we're influenced from a very young age to live a certain life that's not in accordance with our highest good. It's not in alignment with the divine's will for our life. And this is where the 7 deadly sins come into it, which I've been speaking about a lot in the readings lately because it's very, very relevant, okay? Now, this can be a very tricky environment to navigate when you start breaking things down into the 7 deadly sins, because what you start to find is just about everything inside our waking lives is colored with one of these sins. It's everywhere. What do we have in the throat, please? And there's that tower. I was speaking about this at the beginning of the reading. Remember how I said the 7 of Wands felt like the precursor to the tower? And now we have it right here at the throat chakra. So there's mass exposure taking place right now inside your individual lives and collective-wide. Now, the simplest way I can try and explain to you how exposure takes place is all based around you stepping into your power, right? When you really start to step inside this energy that I was speaking about and detailing here, right? The spotlight energy of your life, your purpose, your mission, what you came here to do, your allocated position in the universe, all of this, right? Finding your way and reconnecting with source. That is all represented right here in these 3 cards. Now, when you do this, there's a kind of mass exposure in your own individual environments, the people that you may have encountered on your path. You start to see people, places, things in a different way. There's a shift in perception, the way you perceive your reality. I'm getting a lot of ringing in my right ear, so confirming what I'm saying. I feel a lot of you are going through this right now, and I'm hard channeling right now, so there's a lot coming through. So if I'm speaking kind of fast, this is because of the channeling, okay? But a lot of you are starting to see this right now. The ringing is representing a confirmation of the fact that a lot of you are actually starting to bear witness to an exposure taking place in your environment. You're starting to see where all the restrictions have been placed in your own individual life, and you're starting to get clarity around your path and the direction you should be going. Tower at the throat. When this tower hits, The people that created this restriction on your path are brought out into the light. They too are in the spotlight, right? You're in the spotlight of your life. And they have also been brought out into the spotlight. You see, this is when the scales tip. Again, a lot of ringing in my right ear, so a lot of confirmation around what I'm saying now. This is answering a lot of your questions that you've been asking lately, okay? I feel a lot of you have been asking for guidance, you've been asking for signs, and this is it coming through for you. When those scales tip, right, the divine scales of justice tip, you stepping into your power results in an exposure around who the enemy may have been in your life. It's divine law. It's just the way it goes. Some of you may have asked for this as well. Please show me. Please show me who has been creating this resistance in my life. And see, the divine works in a way that's not so obvious, right? They don't just show you who it is. They show you how to get on your path to your purpose and to your mission, which triggers the exposure. You actually create the exposure. You show you who it really is, based on the downloads you receive from the divine and the action you take in your own individual life. Tower at the throat. You speak your truth. You step into your truth. However that shows up for you, that creates the destruction of these false securities. Alternate timeline that you've been restricted to creates a complete upheaval and absolute ruin and disgrace in these individuals' lives. And remember what I said, they're being used as extensions by the devil, right? By this opposing force. Now, I'm not here to challenge with any of you how you perceive the devil or the opposing force. It doesn't really matter. I'm just using common terminology so we can all really understand and relate to this in some capacity, that there is a force of resistance out there that is trying to stop us from getting where the divine needs us. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy with this tower at the throat. I just heard your words have weight, even the ones that you don't speak. Very deep, very profound. Your mind, right? Your mind is powerful. You don't even need to reduce yourself to speaking what your mind is thinking. Your moves, your actions, say it all. Don't share anything that you're working on in your lives right now. Don't share your plans with anyone. It's between you and Source. It's the oversharing. It's the seeking of other people's validation, family members, trying to ask people their opinions about a path that they've never themselves walked. Think about that. I remember I used to do this when I was a lot younger. I just naturally thought that the authority figures in my life knew everything, right? But as I got older, I started to realize that they actually didn't know anything. And that all my actions that I was taking in my life were based on their own limitations. This is why it's very important just to move in silence. Take it to God. Always take it to God. And now this isn't going to speak to absolutely everybody. Some of you have been blessed with supportive and loving family members, okay? But maybe the restriction shows up somewhere else. Maybe it shows up with your romantic relationships or your friends. You take it as it fits here. But no matter what your own set of circumstances are, we all have to move in silence right now. None of them can offer you anything that you can't do for yourself, is what I just heard. Too many cards. What do we have at the third eye? Ace of Wands and the Moon. Literally just confirmed everything I said about moving in silence. Okay, so whatever you're working on here is coming up as the Ace of Wands, okay? And see how Hand of God is just between you and the divine, you and Source, you and the universe. There's no one else there, right? The Moon. Keep quiet. Keep it hidden. Pisces energy. It couldn't get any more obvious. This is an unbelievable spread because it's so very clear that a lot of you are moving into this, again, that spotlight energy, right? It's like you're preparing to harvest something here. You're preparing to receive your divine inheritance. This is really what this energy here is speaking about to me, okay? The restriction you've had to overcome to get here, the destruction of these false securities, which represents this, all these people here, right? And now you're on the other side, and you're being called to move in silence. When you start to move inside this energy as well, you start to realize that the only reason why you didn't get here sooner is because maybe you overshared, or maybe you trusted in individuals that you didn't realize you couldn't trust at the time. But now you're starting to see very clearly that a lot of these people were the common denominators in a lot of your failures or your missteps. You'll get to a point where this becomes very clear to you. You'll naturally just start to look back and put the pieces together, right? When I look back over my past now and I see the pattern of this, it's mind-blowing, because you don't see it in the moment. You don't see it at that point in time, because it's so far beyond what your mind can even conceive to think that these individuals in your life would actually be your mortal enemies. Some of these people have followed you from past lives into this life cycle, trying to hoodwink and bamboozle you again, right? A lot of you are picking up on things that you had to stop doing or leave behind in another life cycle. But in this life cycle, you're going to complete it. We're on a higher timeline now. We get the win this time around. And the cycle with these mortal enemies closes, and they know that. What do you think happens to them when you close out this cycle and you come out the victor? However that shows up for you. Tower at the throat. They're finally brought before divine courts. You know, they're kinds of demonic entities that follow us from past life cycles. They possess the people around us. See, the environment turns people into vessels that can house these entity attachments. And the simplest way I can go about explaining this is what I said in regards to the connection you nurture with the divine. That needs to be number one. When you do this, you're not susceptible to any sort of entity attachments. Those things don't affect you. When you're living a life that's in alignment with the other path that these people are on, then you are susceptible to the entity attachments. You are a natural host. You make yourself a vessel for possession, so to speak. Okay? And unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, but a lot of you probably already know this. This is what's happened to a lot of your family members, a lot of your friends, a lot of these people you've dated. Now, even though 144,000 of us sounds like a lot, and yes, it is enough to make a difference, that's why I think that number is what it is, it's still only 0.0018% of the world's population, which is roughly 8 billion, okay? That to me feels close to the number of people that are probably really nurturing for real a divine connection with Source, okay? But that's all that's needed to help shift the global collective. So, in saying that, what we've learned here is that you need to move in silence. You need to be very strategic in how you are laying out your plans to start moving toward whatever this is here that I'm picking up for each one of you individually. It's going to be different. But the most important thing here is the calling is happening right now. And it's time that you get up and start charging towards whatever this is for you and however this may be unfolding in your life. What do we have at the foundation, please? Three of Pentacles, Capricorn Energy, Arobos. Whenever I get this card, it's like bull in a china shop, right? It's like an energy of somebody who's trying to stand in your way. Wait. It's like an energy that's trying to block you. Three of Pentacles in its negative polarity, which is how I read this card, it's an energy of disorder. It's an energy of instability. And this is coming out right underneath that Seven of Wands at the foundation. So this is what you're leaving behind. All these people that are coming against you. That's what they bring into your life. That is not a part of the mission statement for your life. That's not the life you're supposed to be living. A lot of these people you're dealing with wouldn't be able to walk a mile in your shoes, but you're still standing stronger than ever, about to be happier than you've ever been, about to be more beautiful and confident than you've ever been. You know, an interesting thing about these paths, all of you are on as well, is that when you start to align with this energy, not only does all this restriction and all this disorder from these previous cycles start to dissolve, but there's this sense of aging backwards. It's a real thing. You start to look younger, your health starts to improve. A lot of ailments that you may have been dealing with on these previous cycles may start to go away, or things just mysteriously disappear. Now, it's going to be different for everybody. Okay, everybody deals with these things in different ways, but it has to do with the shifts energetically that your body goes through, right? I mentioned that the 7 deadly sins are actually a thing. And when you live a life in accordance with those 7 deadly sins, it ages you out. It wears you down. But when you start to clean up all these different areas of your life, there's this divine energy that starts to flood through and reinvigorate all of your cells, your spirit, your physical vessel. Everything improves. And the harder you work inside the space, the faster it happens. You determine when this happens, okay? Remember, you are a direct reflection of your reality. So the divine responds to you when you start moving inside an energy like this that I'm picking up here. This is why, again, it's so important that you focus on this connection. This needs to be your number one priority, is your connection to source, your higher self, that relationship. Everything else comes after that. There's nothing more important than this. And even people who have children, right? When you focus on this connection, it also influences your children's lives. You naturally are able to help them improve their own lives by way of influence. You know, I'm thinking about the pamphlets that we have on the planes, you know, airplanes, where it says, if the oxygen mask falls down, you put it on your face first, and then you fix it on your child's face. This is exactly what I'm getting here, right? So it's like your connection with Source, God, whatever you use as a point of worship for yourself, or whatever you see as your supreme being, and then your children, right? If you have children, right? And that's really just an example of truly how important this is here. What do we have at the sacral, please? Knight of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, Hares at the sacral. See, if they can't stop you, right? Get you to give up, stand in your way. Then they're going to sneak around. They're going to try and use other tactics. This Knight of Swords is a very impulsive, tactless kind of energy. Somebody with complete disregard for you, your life, and how you live it. It's an energy of deliberate cruelty. You know, when you move inside a space like this, it triggers people. It's like it triggers their demons. Something tells them that they need to come after you, right? This is when you really start to see these people for who they really are. It's just an energy that's completely out of control. But it makes perfect sense. I mean, look at all this energy you're stepping into, and then you have all this resistance around you. See, they know that this right here results in this, the tower. Your alignment is a destruction to the false foundation that they built in their life. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Eight of Wands, Sag energy, Ronav. I feel like this is speaking about what I mentioned early on in the reading about understanding how karma works, right? Because Eight of Wands in its negative polarity is an energy of missteps. It's also an energy of wasting your time and energy into spaces that never seem to bear any fruit. And I feel that the message here is for you to start understanding truly how energy works, right? To reiterate again, what you put out is exactly what is going to come back. So you can use that to your advantage. Think about all the resistance, all the negativity you've had to deal with on your path, right? Now, there's got to be a positive side to all of that. So what do you need to do to shift the energy so you start to receive the positive side of the negative? See, for every negative, there's a positive. For every positive, there's a negative. A lot of it has to do with your environments. You know, you can't manifest when you have these people around you, these environments around you. They bring bad luck into your life. Some of you haven't done anything wrong or taken any missteps. It just has to do with what you surround yourself with. Again, it will be different for each and every one of you. But at the end of the day, if things aren't moving in your life and you keep getting hit with some sort of negative energy, or you're just not seeing any sort of movement, you're missing something. I would go as far as saying, all right, and there's going to obviously be exceptions to everything that we speak about here, because this is a general reading. Again, I'm reading for 144,000 of you, so it's going to be different for all of you. But a lot of the resistance that you're dealing with, it's going to be right underneath your nose. It's going to be things that you make up excuses for, whether it's people, places, things, behavioral patterns, addictions, so many different ways this can show up, okay? It's always right underneath your nose. It's staring you right in the face. But we've just been conditioned, we've been programmed by this reality, by this matrix, to second guess ourselves or see certain things as not significant enough to have a big enough effect or influence the energy. I'm telling you, it's all those little things sometimes, they all add up together. It's like a huge dam, right? That's barely holding the water back. And there's like a tiny little bolt, right? At any moment, it's just going to bust open and the bolt is just going to disintegrate from the pressure. It's like that bolt represents what I'm picking up here for a lot of you, the things that you don't think are significant enough. You have to look at the finer details. That's where you're going to find the biggest changes, I think. It's usually not the things that are most obvious to you. Yes, they're in front of your face, but it's like the things that are between the details. What do we have at the heart? Yeah, for some of you, this is a person, right? Jealousy, 3 of Cups, Juiceon, Cancer energy. So this is somebody, for a lot of you, that this is a gossiper. Okay, this could be somebody that parties, but this is somebody that does not support you in what you're doing. It can also be somebody who's always trying to persuade you, right, to do things that knock you off your path or take a couple of days from you. You know, the basic example is somebody persuading you to drink with them or party with them or hang out with them, okay? Whatever it is, it results in slowing you down. But this person was sent by the devil, and they show up in a vessel, right? Family member, a partner, a friend. This person here is holding you back from this. And I feel that this person mocks you as well, right? It's like here you are, you're holding these 2 jugs. In those jugs, you have hope. That's what that represents, right? You're pouring into yourself. This represents knowledge, right? Your downloads you're getting from the divine. And then here they are making fun of you. Yeah, you know, Collective had this jug, and they're like, yeah, that represents my purpose and my hope, and ha ha ha. They're so weird. And this is this person. And they have, I mean, it looks like a cigar in their mouth, right? There's just something about this person. I feel like this could be somebody who uses substances to numb themselves, okay, maybe drinking a lot or doing drugs or something like this or whatever it is. It's just this person is representing indulgence, right? They encompass the 7 deadly sins, or some of them, or quite possibly all of them. Jealousy. I mean, that is one of the 7 deadly sins. Jealousy and envy. So this is really speaking about what we said in regards to the details, right? Like looking at quite possibly some of the people in your life. See, most of the time, it's going to be people. All right, it's going to be people, it's going to be behavioral patterns, addictions. These are the top 3 biggest things that are going to hold you back from stepping into this new energy. And all of those things work in conjunction with each other, I think. The toxic people have a way of being a bad influence in your life, which can lead you to the behavioral patterns that aren't in alignment with your highest good, which can obviously lead to addiction, right? Numbing pain or maybe numbing guilt. It's going to be different, but they all work in tandem. They're all byproducts of each other. And then we have King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, victory. So this is you cutting this energy out of your life now, starting to understand the depths to how this actually works. It's very, very detailed. It's very complex. And when you start to understand this, how energy works, it will blow you away, right? For a lot of you, you already understand this. And you quite often find yourself in a space to where you're pinching yourself like, is this even real? What is reality, right? It's so peculiar when you start to step on the other side of this and your perspective around how you perceive reality shifts. It's mind-blowing, literally mind-blowing. But this is where you find the essence of your soul. I just heard that so clearly. Beautiful. You start to think about the depths to life and why we're here. And within that, you find something that you never had access to before. There's an overwhelming sense of hope and faith that you start to have within Source, your Creator, the Divine, and yourself. And you start to truly understand that anything is possible when it's in accordance with the Divine's will for your life and for the betterment of mankind. Always manifest from that space. What can I do that would be for the betterment of mankind and the collective? Show me. Make me your vessel. You manifest from this space and you'll start to understand what a superhero really is. What do we have at the throat, please? 3 of Pentacles again. God-hearing laminations, EIL. Mental force protects against sorrows and illness, right? So we have 3 of Pentacles here and here. These are different polarities, negative polarity, positive polarity, okay? This is the resistance. This is the supportive energy. Right here, we bridge it from the resistance, right? Resistance to support. So demons, demon, angel, angels into the outcome. Now, this particular 3 of Pentacles is speaking about collaboration, a collaboration that you're in with the divine. You're co-creating this new reality, not only for yourself, but for all of those that you have been assigned to influence on your path, right? It goes back to what I said in regards to the domino effects, right? You each create in your own life. That's a big way of thinking. It's also very grounded in reality when you think about it. And we have access to this space in a way that we never have before because of technology. You know, again, right? This tarot reading, for example, all the people it reaches and what they do with some of the information and how it affects the people around them. It just really, there's no end to it. Now, all of you are being called to do similar, however that shows up in your own life, like whatever is in accordance with your particular path, what you're being called to do. So in saying all that, you just need to think less, do more, okay? Don't worry about all the details. Just do what the divine is guiding you to do, and the details will work themselves out. So 3 of Pentacles can also speak about studying or learning or some sort of new skill some of you may be called right now to go towards, okay? There's a lot of this taking place inside the collective right now. It's as if a lot of you are being called to your stations. That's it. You're being called to your stations. Huh. What do we have at the third eye, please? Unbelievable. Being called to your stations, and look at the illustration, right? The hangman, Nishael, the only God, desire for knowledge, protects from liars, evil spells, and bad spirits. So confirming what I said about being called to your stations, right? This is you now having a higher understanding of how this is unfolding. And then we have this angel literally blowing the horn, right? Yes, we need everybody to their stations, otherwise known as their purpose, their mission. It's time to align. It's time to go after these true heart's desires. All of that, okay? That's what this means. It's time to let go of all this stuff here, right? This is a never-ending battle. The whole purpose of this is to keep you inside that energy perpetually. There's no peace here. Their purpose is to make a victim out of you, steal your precious time away from you, and get you out of here as quickly as possible. You're being called to take this unique perspective over your life right now and understand this. And that's exactly what the hangman is. What do we have at the crown to close out the reading, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the crown? Too many cards. What do we have at the crown to close out the reading, please? Wow. I just saw this card a second ago. It was trying to come out. What a way to end. The Magician, Nethea, the generous God. Spiritual wisdom and magic helps one gain wisdom and discover hidden secrets. Gemini, Virgo energy at the crown to close out the reading. Unbelievable. This is you truly realizing how much power and potential you have, right? This vision, this is you turning this into reality. Now's a time for focus, right? And I'm thinking back to what I said in regards to those of you out there who feel like you missed out on something or it's too late or blah, blah, blah. Trust me, I know exactly how that feels because I went through that as well. And what you also don't know is that's most people. Most people feel like they missed out on something, like they missed the boat. It's just a part of it, okay? But I'm telling you, you just need to reconnect with Source and ask for an updated version of your mission statement. And out of nowhere, you're going to start getting downloads and ideas, and things will start to crystallize to you in regards to how you are supposed to be moving in the here and now, okay? See, our mission statements, the downloads, they're all sitting there waiting for us. It's up to us to position ourselves to access those things, right? That's why our environments are the way they are, so we're not able to understand this and find an access point to be able to receive the downloads. The magician right here is speaking about all of that. Everything you need, you have. Everything you need is available to you. It's all found by going within and connecting with Source. There's nothing else that you need. You're being called to be resourceful with what you have in the here and now because it will allow you to access the next part of your mission statement. This is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations. Take care.